So I'm going to just quickly show you how I've done this bomb scare break, which when finished will eventually sound like this. It's not perfect if you compare it to the original. But it's close enough for what I'm trying to do. So the bomb scare, to my knowledge at least, is made of two separate breaks. One of them is this "Let Me Love You" loop, which sounds, it's by, whoever this is, Korea, and it sounds a little bit like this. And that in turn is made up of two separate breaks. It's made up of a soul to soul, what's it called? Can't remember the name of that break. Keep on Moving, that's it. And the drum fill from a Funky President. So I've got my original loops here that I've recorded, all of these. So you can see from the file name that it's one of my own. So if I just play the Funky President. So there's a little bit of a fill at the end there. I've cut that up a bit and then resampled it here with a little bit of fading. So that's how the fill was done at the end. Again, it's not perfect compared to the original, but it's close enough for me. A little bit of, did I do any pitching? It looks like, yeah, I've done a little bit of pitching. Wow, right down to the cents as well. And obviously enveloped that. And then the soul to soul, Keep On Moving. This was run out the computer through some SSL style compression, SSL channel strip and 1176 compression and a tube preamp just to smash it a little bit more tube emulation, some decimal limiting, which is not loading, and just Exoscope there's just to view the WAV file, just to view the result of the limiting. Sometimes it's helpful just when trying to knock out peaks and stuff to see if you're overdoing it or not. Obviously, if I turn the limit off, not really doing a huge amount, but keeping it in check a little bit. So anyway, that was resampled out, and you can see the resulting soul to soul break there. It's definitely knocked all the peaks off. A little bit of Pro Q2 on there, just taking out some bits that we don't need, and then there's a sort of distorted 808 sound. Very, very, very enveloped and just using the left channel. And then the resulting thing sounds like this. Compared to the original. Is not identical, but it's good enough. So I've copied that over here and I've turned the warp off because it's generally how I work with these things. And we'll come back to that in a second. The other break in this track is a trace track called Inception. And the original sounds like this. It's like a very layered Hot Pants, or could be Fool's Gold, I think it's Hot Pants. So the way I did that, and again, it's definitely not perfect. I've got my own Hot Pants recording here. Which has been pitched up 3 semitones and 5 cents. Again, that's just generally the way I work with these things. There's a bit of tambourine in the background, as you can hear, obviously. That's, again, been run out the computer and then through Rough Rider, which I think is excellent for these kind of things. And then that's been pulled back in, and it looks like I've done a little bit of enveloping on some of the kick drums in particular. So that sounds like this. Definitely a lot more distorted, and then decimal, it's just got the preamp pushed, and then that looks a bit like this when it's done. And then on the group, it's just some Pro Q2, taking out some bits that we don't need. Oh, it should be 135, not 194. So yeah, my version sounds like this. You can hear it's actually quite different to the Trace one. The Trace one's got much more tambourine in it. But anyway, both of those breaks were loaded into different instances of Simpler using the slice mode, and I've just reprogrammed them. So here's the inception break, the 1 bar loop, and then the Let Me Love Rebuilt thing is a 2 bar loop. So put those together through a bit of drum bus, decimal, limiting. Sounds a little bit like this. And then I resampled that, and I've just manually faded out certain parts. And again, it's not perfect compared to the original, but it's close enough for what I want to do. The other one I was going to show you is my fire starter, which the original, for anyone who doesn't know, sounds like this. So that started life as this break here, which I think is actually bound to another project, but is a recording of my friend Stu, heavily cut up and distorted, and it's had some Pro Q2 doing a channel, I don't know what they call it, the EQ match thing. Then the main break from Firestarter is this Light My Fire thing, which originally sounds like this. Obviously, this is my version. Pitched up 3/7 seconds. It's very, very roomy. It's kind of cool sounding. So that ended up on almost certainly like the Fatboy Slim sample CD that we've been doing the rounds, and then it would have ended up on probably Data Files and even Jungle Warfare, which is probably where Liam Howell got it from. I think the version on Jungle Warfare is the one he's used. It's got a much bigger kick on it. So I've used one of my kicks from my Modular Electro library, which has got a bunch of vinyl piss in it, and then there's a lower 808 kick. Put those together, okay, with the Light My Fire break, and then my other break from Stu. Obviously, the original Firestarter Liam didn't use 2 breaks to do the job of 1, but I kind of found that using both, they had slightly different characteristics. This thing called Ver 1 has a bit more of the sort of like some of the more frequencies in the sort of like high mids, and then this one got a bit more of the room sound. This thing called Alitron is something my friend Hal actually made out of a loop. You can find the original in this article. And again, this came from exactly the same drummer that's done all the beats on this, a guy called Stu. So I don't know if Chrome's hooked up to loop back, so I won't bother playing the clips, but you can find it here. So the original beat was just processed by me using reverb and compression and all the normal stuff. And then I sent it to Hal, and he sent back a couple of versions. One, this sort of like Chemical Brothers Prodigy style break, and then another one which was kind of it sounds to me like a Pulp Fiction, Alex Reese kind of thing. And actually it's an MP3 that I've used here, but it doesn't really matter. And that's just been cut up. It's not a great deal of processing going on there, a bit of high passing and some sidechain compression. Same thing with this. I mean, high passing sidechain compression, and then on the Firestarter one there's a bit more sort of coloration going on. I didn't actually include this in the final bounce, but there's this kind of rock break, which is a go with the flow style drum break, again recorded by Stu for an article I did on Queens of the Stone Age. That's supposed to kind of simulate the, I think it's the Breeders style break that Liam sampled in Firestarter. So it's got some chorus on it. Goes without saying that a lot of the processing information for this break actually came from Jim Pavlov and his excellent deconstructions. Didn't actually end up using that in the final sample. There is a crash cymbal, which is just from what looks like a Sample Magic pack. I don't know where that's from actually. And then the important thing about this is using a pitch envelope. Where's that? I guess it's in here. Would have thought it's in there. Maybe it's in here. Oh no, I'm using the pitch bend rather. So you can see from the automation, there's just a 8 semitone pitch bend, and that just. And then, for reference, although I didn't include this in the bounce, there's the Art of Noise Hey thing. But I haven't done anything with that, and that was actually omitted from the final bounce. But you can clearly hear. And it doesn't even sound that similar, but it's been a fun process to make nonetheless. And there's the resulting WAV. It's kind of got a little bit more obvious low end in it compared to the Firestarter original, and I guess that one looks a bit more complex because there's like the wah guitar and a few more layers that I've deliberately omitted, but yeah, cool, that's it.